We're just going to start setting things up. I've done things a little bit different today. I have actually got um, my jig heads in the oven already heating up. So that should speed this process up a little bit. And of course, it's got the orientation wrong again. I do not know why it insists on doing that. But, okay, either way, here we are. Every time I try to make sure I've got the orientation in the correct way, it always seems to revert back. And I'm not sure why, but whatever. Here we go. So, like I was saying, I already have the jig heads. What I've done is I've put a bunch in here preheating so that way we will be ready to go once everybody gets on here and we start actually powder coating these. All right. So hey there, Thomas. I see you just joined us. We're going to be starting with the chartreuse yellow today. Sean, hi. Again, like I said, I took and I preheated these. I'm doing it a little bit different than I generally do. Uh, I'm going to take these that are already preheated and ready to go, and as I powder coat them, I'm going to put them over here to let them bake. Most memorable fishing story, I don't know. There was a day out on the jetties where it was really, really overcast, and we were just dragging in monster reds every single cast. I mean, I've got a ton of fishing stories from the years, but that one was pretty cool. We had the entire place to ourselves and just nonstop dragging redfish in. So that was a good time. All right, I got my first drop out of the way. I've mentioned on every one of these lives that I do, I end up dropping at least one of these jigs, putting them into this oven. Always got to have people on here being silly. You guys can find better stuff to do than that. So that's the yellow on the powder coat. This is chartreuse yellow. And as always, gotta keep the powder aerated, mixed up so that the jig heads go in it really easy. So that's our 4 in the yellow powder that we're gonna do for this set. I'm gonna do the blaze orange next. And I've got talk about this on all my lives. I've got my big screen up there so I can kind of check on the comments. So I try to keep up with you guys' comments as I see them come in. There's the blaze orange. And guys, if y'all go over and check out Southern Tide Chasers on Amazon, also have a page on there where we post everything that we use here on the channel, stuff from our affiliates like Monsterbass, 𝐬𝐝_𝐾𝐭. I talk about them all the time on the channel. Flogrown, like the shirt that I've got on. But over on the Amazon channel, I post all that stuff, including the Protect powder, like I use here. So you want to go over there, that's another way to support the Southern Tide Chasers channel, what we do. You can check out our Facebook page as well. Temperature came down a little too far on that one. The powder wasn't quite taken. And if y'all see behind me here, this is my shirt that I'm going to be wearing for our tournament coming up in May. I just got it in today. Always like my tournament shirts. I found that one on sale and went ahead and ordered it in for next month's tournament. I have our affiliate tournament jersey as well, but it's a dark color. I was looking for something a little bit lighter, and then I seen the Z-Man shirt, and because last month's Monsterbass box was the Z-Man Takeover. It just had me thinking about it, so I got that one in. And I think with a much lighter color, it's going to be a little bit easier to wear out there. So there you go. Again, it's the Blaze Orange. And like I mentioned before, we do these in 4 different colors and 4 different sizes right now. 2 different hook sizes, 4 different weight sizes, and 4 different colors. And they come in a pack of 4. So that's why every time I'm doing all my colors, I always do them in a set of 4. The next color we'll put on there is going to be the chartreuse green, as you can see there. And this is the chartreuse yellow. Once the powder gets a chance to melt down on there, if you can see that shine that's on there, stuff really lays out nice. There's your chartreuse green. Anybody on here got any good fishing stories? Or even, what do y'all think about these Bo Peep jigs and the sweeper style jigs like what we're making here? Oh, it looks like my mom has chimed in. Hey, Mom. Always glad to see when the family comes on and checks out the channel, helps me out. Yeah, this chartreuse green really pops on these jig heads. Seen yesterday, I did a combo of the green and the white, and I even went as far as to put all 3 colors on there. Again, I was just kind of playing around with some stuff yesterday. That's the green, the white, and the orange. Once the chartreuse orange melts down a little bit, I'm going to pull those out and show you how that looks once it's all melted down real good. And then we'll do the white on the next 4, and then we'll start the process over. I'll go with the yellow, orange, green, and white. It doesn't. The order doesn't necessarily matter whatsoever. It's just getting them all done, getting the colors on. And so again, I've showed this a couple of times. You look, the white didn't take at all on this color because the temperature got too low. So let the temperature get back up on there, and we can start doing these white jig heads. Again, I'm just fluffing the powder coat up right there, making sure that the jig head sinks down into the powder really softly. I'll tell you what, while we're waiting on that to dry up a little bit too, this is the tournament shirt for next month. It's just a Z-Man shirt that I ordered, but a little bit lighter than my regular tournament shirt. It's a really dark color. I am a fan of my Southern Tide Chasers tournament shirt, but again, out in the beginning of May in an all black shirt probably is not going to be the best thing for me. So ordered that one in. It's going to be a little bit lighter. It's gonna work really well. And that's your powder white, how it looks when it goes on. This is one that I had already done, and the powder just didn't quite go on right. I probably didn't have my temperature quite right. I get to running my mouth, and I leave the lid open on the oven a little too long. So I'm gonna take it, just repowder that one. And that's the blaze orange. Again, you can see the shine, the light reflecting off of that thing. Really good looking powder once it melts down. And it's really, really strong too. It's going to hold up a lot better than just painting the jig or anything like that. Got to make sure they don't touch whenever you're putting them up on the drying rack either, because this stuff is very sticky while it's hot. And that's all I'm doing. You can't see really where I'm shoving those so much, but up here is my little parts on the pegboard there where I hang these things to dry up. Just let the temperature get back up a little bit, and we'll powder coat those other two white ones. I'll pull out some of these green ones that are now just about melted. I want to let that temperature get back up. And that's the chartreuse green. One thing that helps when I've got some fresh jigs in here in the oven, I can see that white powder hasn't started to truly melt down yet, which lets me know my temperature has dropped in there. Now I've dropped 2. We'll recoat that one later. Now that it's drug all across the bottom of the daggum oven. What do y'all think about the Z-Man shirt there? Still low. And when I say the temperature's low, trust me, it's still very, very hot in there. But you got to have the lead up to a good hot temperature to be able to get that stuff to really melt and stick on there. All right, so I don't know why my computer, with even with the signal booster I put here in the garage, it still wants to act up sometimes. That's the reason why I have to keep recording these things on my phone, because again, the garage is separate from the house, so it's just far enough away that I can't trust the signal on the computer to be stable enough. All right, and that's your just solid white jigs there. And something that I mentioned before, but it's something that I am 100% dead set on. Every one of these, once they dry and I'll let them sit, I am going to take and I'm going to clean the eyelets out on every one of these, because nothing aggravates me more than I go to tie a jig head on and the eyelets full of powder coat, and you've got to sit there and pick that stuff off before you can get to fishing. So something we always make sure of is we clean the eyelets out. I'm not saying at some point you're not going to get one of our Bo Peep jigs that's going to have an eyelet that's solid in there, but I guarantee you it's a rare occasion that you'll get one. But sometimes things do get overlooked. Your chartreuse yellow. And again, feel free to comment. I've got 3 screens going where I can see comments. So the next video I'm going to make, I'm going to have to go back to making jig heads. I've got my hooks and my lead coming in tomorrow, because this is the last of the stuff that I have made up once I powder coat this today. So the next video I make out here in the garage, outside of making content for our affiliates, I'm going to be pouring more lead and building more jigs to powder coat. If you haven't caught those videos, you got a very good chance of seeing me burn myself, which you might find interesting. More than just messing with this oven, anyway. It never fails, at least once or twice, with this melting pot I get myself. I am doing very good in life. I hope you are as well. Thank you for that. And that's the jig there that I recoated. And my point in showing that is just because you take and you powder coat it and maybe it doesn't quite go right the first time, you can reheat this stuff and you can take and run it through the powder again. So it is very forgiving. I'm going to do some more of the chartreuse green one since my mom chimed in and said that was her favorite. Out of the colors here that we've got, the blaze orange, chartreuse yellow, chartreuse green, or the plain white. Do any of y'all have any favorite colors on there? Are there any colors that I'm not doing that you think I should be doing? Temperature's not quite right yet. We're up on about 35 minutes. Once I finish these sets up, like I've said, that's all I've got left to powder coat for now. So I'll finish these up and we're gonna call it a day. I gotta let those get up to temperature. And we'll run through them. We'll do 4 in the green and we'll do 4 in the orange to finish this thing off. Be right back. Sorry about that. Always have to keep an eye on the pepper dog when I'm out here. If y'all watch that video, y'all got to meet my pepper. generally pretty quiet out here when I got these lives going, doing my thing, but every now and then. So again, that's your green, but as you can see, it didn't quite stick on there. Trying to get in a hurry. Just for a little bit of info, I set this oven on about 350, a little bit higher, 350, 365, something like that. And it keeps it at a pretty decent temperature. If I'm not rushing and I'm not leaving the door open for too long, which I'm terrible about doing. And guys, this powder, it goes a pretty long way as well. You can see that. That's it, when they first come in, they're pretty full up to the top. And I've done probably 60 packs of these things in the various colors. So, and the powder ranges from anywhere from $10 to $15 for this little 2 ounce of powder. So it's not terribly expensive, and it'll last a decent time. So unless you don't do like I did with the yellow, and if you can see, there's not a bunch of it left. The second day I got this stuff, I dumped a whole pile of it out on the table. Trying to figure out if I could do this orange just one time in the powder and be done with it. But so far, every time I do it, I've got to put the orange in the powder twice. It just doesn't seem like doing it one time with the blaze orange, like it comes out as bright as I would want it to, because that's really what I'm looking for, on that finish. Really get that good shine to it. I think out of all of them, probably the chartreuse green probably has the best looking finish to it overall, though. Or the white. It's a little bit plain, but the white, it really lays out nice. My brother's chiming in. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, pay attention. You're going to be doing this real soon. Hopefully, we're going to get Chris once he starts doing his jigs. He's he's in this little venture with me, and hopefully, when he starts doing his jigs, we'll get him on a live while he's making some. Get one of these green ones out. So you can see that there, the way that finish looks on there. You can see the light, the way that the chartreuse green, Chris, that's your favorite as well? Mom mentioned that was her favorite. Let's see. How do you like this one? Where I was playing around and I did a little bit of the white and the green. Or like I mentioned earlier, I did all three colors on there. Just again, just playing around. And if you notice, when I pulled that thing out, they come out and they're really hot, but they cool down really quickly. The actual lead stays hot, but I mean the hook itself I can grab onto pretty easy. So this is what I was mentioning on that orange as well. That's the first coat of the orange on there, and I don't think it turns out all that great first round through. So always take and I coat them again. And another thing is this is a powder. So especially here in the state of Florida, like we live in, you don't want to leave this stuff just constantly open and exposed to the elements. It will take on moisture. So you can see now that I've coated that one again, when it comes out of the oven this time, it's going to look a lot better. That disconnected. And again, just your regular chartreuse screen. We're going to give a few minutes for those orange to come out, and then we'll take a look. Take a look at how those look now that I've coated those for a second time. Another nice thing, like I've mentioned before, I can do a large quantity of these all at the same time on this cheap little thing. As a matter of fact, I still got the sticker here. I picked this thing up at Goodwill for $8.99. So, but you can see with the little glass window there, I could sit there and look at when that coating is completely melted. It gives me a good indication of when to pull them out. And I've mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. Once you powder coat in these things, don't try to cook anything in them. It won't turn out well. This is a powder coat only oven. Now that I've used it for this process. I'm going to turn the camera and you can see the wall there, all the different jigs that we've done. Even got some up here. This is where I stick them to dry. This is also where I stick all my Z-Man packs from Monsterbass. I've got my AVCO affiliate hat up there, Monsterbass tight lines. My mold. This is my lead burner. And then my clamp. Just all my little stuff for when I get out here and I start making stuff. And I will mention these guys again too. They are also affiliate. You can check all the affiliate stuff in the channel link. But really, really good stuff for when you've got muscles that are hurting and aching you. I keep that stuff out here because out here in the garage, what you can't see is I've also got my little weight set up when I get out here to try to do just a little bit better. So good spot to have that stuff because I get to aching and hurting every now and then. Probably primarily because I'm old. I missed one. So yes, sir. We are making what I refer to, or what we are calling, the Bo Peep jigs. We make these sweeper jigs primarily for catching sheephead. So that's the reason why I called them Bo Peep jigs. I thought that would be kind of funny, but as you can see, it keeps your bait up off the bottom with the weight down towards all your bottom and your oyster bed and all that good stuff. And there is that blaze orange after the second coat. And I think everybody will agree that orange looks a whole lot better after a second coat. And I only dropped 2 this time. So overall, not terrible. There hasn't been a single time that I've done this, whether the camera was on or off, that I haven't dropped at least one. So, and that's it. That's all the jigs I've got for now. Like I said, we're going to have to get back in there and make some more. I am going to start making the smaller jigs. I don't know if I have any of those out here right now. So we can make these all the way down to that small little size right there, and that is an 1/8 ounce jig head right there. So for right now, what we're doing is we're making these, like I said, primarily for saltwater and cheaphead. So I only make the bigger stuff, but I can also do the smaller weight sizes as well. Ever use glitter flakes? No. In this powder, now I've used it doing bigger parts and stuff. Because, like I said, I worked at a company that had a big powder coating booth and all that good stuff. But as far as for doing these jigs, the colors that I have right now are all I've worked with. We are also, I think when I was talking with my brother, something that we're looking at getting is some of the football style jig heads, get some molds to do those as well. And I, of course, want to do something similar to these mushroom jig heads here that Z-Man sent out in last month's box. But for now, we are concentrated on these Bo Peep jigs. All right, we're only going to let this run for an hour today. It looks like we've got just at like right now 5 minutes. So that if anybody has any other questions or anything, I can answer while we're on here for the next 5 minutes. I'm more than happy to. Gonna have to re-punch that hole so I can put that back up there. And yeah, Chris, you would not want to taste it. Kind of like the oven that we've got in the house as well. We use it for doing our cups and shirts and stuff. It's the same thing. It's a big toaster oven, and once you put the sublimation stuff in there, it's done. You can actually see that thing whenever we fire it up. It starts the sublimation process actually starts smoking and everything. So anytime you do any of these processes, you definitely don't want to ever cook in that device ever again. Pop these back up here. That's the chartreuse yellow. This is our blaze orange. What seems to be everybody's favorite, the chartreuse green. And I do have to admit it does pop really well. And then just the straight white. That's the 4 colors that we offer right now. I do know whenever I was talking with my brother, we had mentioned about doing some in the bright or fluorescent pink. I'm looking at getting some of that in. And they got several other colors that I'm going to get in as we go and do more of this process. And something like I showed earlier, if I can find it now. You can always play around with this powder and put colors together. It doesn't have to be one solid color. And part of the reason I'm always showing these things in this presentation is because this part doesn't really matter. It's going to be sitting down like that. This is the part that you're presenting to, fish or whatever, for as much as fish can even see the color. But I've got a graph that on one of the videos, when I actually do a video and not a live, I'll put up there, and it can actually show you as the lure goes through the depths how much the color changes. So as good as these look, once it gets just a little ways into the water, you're not really seeing that color anymore anyway. But again, this is our Z-Man shirt for the bass tournament next month. Just something I picked up, so like I said, I wouldn't be wearing my official Southern Tide Chasers jersey just because my favorite color is black, and I made that jersey all in black, and now it's going to be beginning of May, and it's going to be extremely hot trying to wear an all black shirt all day long. So got that in, and I didn't want to wear the Abu Garcia shirt again as well. If y'all caught anything on the past videos, I also have my Abu Garcia jerseys, but ordered in something new for this tournament, so just wanted to show that. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll catch y'all on the next live.